So how did I get to this juicy book? In the beginning, I told you I started out in math and computer science and doing IT work. And the reason I started there was because it was a big strength. I always did well in math in school. One of my first jobs out before IT was being an actuary, figuring out statistically when people were going to die. Wow, talk about a buzzkill. So when I got into programming, that was exciting. After doing that for several years and finding that what I was really good at was helping people change and not so much the technology of it, I went to business school. And at Harvard, I decided I wasn't going to care about what grade I made. I didn't want to flunk out, but I was going to find out what I was good at. And at Harvard, everything is based on case studies. So you get a real sense of what it's like to be in finance or in accounting or in marketing. And what they do is they take what you're good at and they polish it like a diamond. They teach to the highest level of the class. And what you're bad at, you come out with the buzzwords so you know who to hire, but you're not going to be good in those fields. So it was a very strength-based approach. But I still wasn't sure that I wanted to change from an IT career to leadership development. I took every class I could in organizational behavior, in performance, in leadership, in management, and I thought I liked it, but I needed to try before I made a big switch. So I did 3 or 4 pro bono projects. I worked for a digital equipment company between first and second year, and everything I did in that field was glorious. The worst job in the leadership field was better than my best job in IT ever. So I luckily got on the interview schedule when Hewlett-Packard came to campus, and they were hiring for marketing people. And they looked at my resume with the IT background, and they were saying, "Oh, do we have the marketing job for you?" And I said, "Well, thank you, but what I really want is leadership development." And they said, "Well, we're not interviewing for that." So I made a compelling pitch. I said, "This is my life's work. I need to do this." And Hewlett-Packard is the kind of company that cares about leadership development. They're not just about having a bunch of IT people. They want them to be leaders. So he went back to the home office. They said, "We've got this crazy lady who wants to interview." They brought me in, and it was glorious. I got to do the most amazing things. I helped the company make marketing an equal partner with R&D and manufacturing, which was huge. Marketing had been paint it blue, ship it through. People that weren't good at R&D got stuffed into marketing. Not a good thing. So bringing in professors from Stanford, from Harvard, helping the executives know what marketing was. And they walked away from those seminars saying, marketing is just as numerical and critical as R&D, which was a huge shift for engineers. Then we launched Total Quality Worldwide, and that was fabulous. Everything I did involved change. The most exciting was when I introduced 360 feedback and coaching to the executives. Because being engineers, they didn't like to give feedback, and they certainly didn't like difficult conversations. So having the first program for executives where they got feedback and coaching so they could learn how to be their best, not from a critical point of view, but from a positive, affirmative point of view, to make them even better leaders. So after HP, I went to Watson Wyatt, which is an actuarial and benefit firm. And I thought, this is going to be fun, because they had been successful for 40 years with no training or leadership development. So I was bringing water to the desert. I love startups and doing something new. So HP had a huge culture of believing in training and leadership development. Watson Wyatt did not. So they didn't come to the mothership in DC like I had hoped. I had to go to them. 52 offices worldwide. Was constantly on the road. And because they didn't want to lose billable hours, we did a lot of work on Saturdays. And I remember waking up one day, and I didn't know what city I was in. and I didn't know what I was teaching for a good 5 minutes. Whoa. And it was Cleveland, oddly enough. So that's when I knew it was time for a change. Burnout was imminent. I had learned a lot. I learned to teach on the fly because when I walked into those rooms to teach project management, I didn't know if I'd be telling them how to scope a project or do PERT and Gantt chart. So it was very much in the moment and a great experience. So then I went to McKinsey, a great consulting firm with lots of brilliant people who sometimes lacked the interpersonal skills to make the clients really want to work with them. So that was a challenge. And after 2 years there, I said, all right, I know what I love to do. I've got the skills and passion aligned. What's the right environment? Because as good as HP was, as good as Wyatt was, not McKinsey. I want to start my own company. And that's when I launched The Learning Advantage, 22 years ago. I have a boss I love. I have work I love. I have the best clients in the world. And I'm doing my life's work. Every day is glorious. My clients kept asking me, how do we get work that we can love like you do? So I said, well, maybe I could write a book on it and that would help. I've been taking thousands of people through this process year after year. And what I realize is I go into organizations where people don't love their work, there's less engagement, there's less joy. And I believe as much as we should have the right to vote, we should have the right to have work we love. We should not accept work that doesn't matter. Our life force comes through in our work. And if that's diminished, a little bit of us dies each day. So I am passionate about people having work they love.